Welcome to Launch, business insights for leaders by leaders. Free to subscribe to, follow, and share. I'm Rebecca Bennett, Editor-in-Chief, and this is Launch. Our topic for today is something that all executives and business owners should be savvy in, because if not, it could result in devastating consequences. Should you change your prices? This is often a question asked by business owners and managers. Businesses ultimately want to maximize profit, but the reality is that many owners and managers make pricing decisions based on the need to cover costs, the profit margin they desire, and gut instinct. Although very valid factors to take into consideration, these ideas alone can get you into trouble. Now, let's move on to our case study. Don't let this happen to you. Ron Johnson was the former head of Apple retail stores and former VP of merchandising at Target, a Stanford grad, and Harvard MBA. As a CEO of JCPenney, he was looking to maximize profit by increasing in-store sales. Taking the idea from a study that concluded that consumers responded strongly to sales and discounted prices, he decided to implement a strategy similar to Walmart's to offer goods at everyday low prices. His thought was that if goods are on sale all the time, that this would boost sales. The strategy failed epically, causing JCPenney's stock price to drop by 60%, with same-store sales dropping 32%. And it reported a net loss of $985 million in revenue for 2012. Some say it was the worst quarter in retail history, and not surprisingly, CEO Ron Johnson lost his job. As you can see, it can happen even to experienced executives from the Ivy Leagues. What happened? As a study revealed, consumers weren't aware of the prices compared to other competitors. All consumers knew was that JCPenney's prices were lower, not that they were the cost leader of all the products they sold, like Walmart does. Therefore, lowering the prices didn't incentivize consumers to shop more at JCPenney because of an awareness issue. By having goods on sale all the time, this eliminated the urgency for consumers to want to clear the shelves of those deals because they knew they could get it whenever they wanted. Additionally, Ron's strategy eliminated the leverage that anchoring has on consumers' minds. That is, when you display the regular price in contrast to the sales price, it provides a reference point for the consumer to assess if they're getting a good deal. And without it, how would consumers know if they're getting a good deal if they're not aware of the price points in general? So what should Ron have done instead? He could have conducted a pilot experiment to test his theory. From this, he could have seen that his strategy didn't work and modified it. In this pilot, we would have liked to see Ron select a few stores to sell at the everyday low price to get an idea of what demand would be compared to previously. From the new data, he would have been able to plot a simple customer demand curve. Then, using the midpoint formula from economics, calculated the elasticity of demand. What that means is how much do customers react to a price change. The degree of elasticity that would have resulted would have been less than 1, meaning Ron would have seen that demand was inelastic, or that people's buying behavior did not increase substantially with the new price drop. If the demand curve had a result greater than 1, it would mean that demand was elastic and that consumers would respond enthusiastically to the price drop. To demonstrate, let's look at a hypothetical example. Ron would have to take the current price, P1, and multiply it by the quantity sold, Q1, to establish what his starting revenue was. Then, he would do the same thing at the new price, P2 times Q2. As you can see per the inelastic demand curve, at the original price, JCPenney's revenue drops by 10%, but then sales only increase by 4%. So as a result, negative 10% plus 4% equals a negative 6% loss in revenue. The drop in price was not sufficient to boost sales and cover the loss. On the other hand, if JCPenney's demand curve was more elastic, like the graph above, then the 10% drop in price would have been more than covered by the 20% gain in sales, resulting in a profit gain of 20% minus 10% equals 10%. By calculating elasticity and forecasting revenue using the elasticity of demand curve, Ron could have saved JCPenney from losing revenue and kept his job. What do you think Ron should have done instead? One possibility is Ron could have started a price match program. The program would signal to customers that they could always get the best deal at JCPenney, boosting confidence and trust in their brand. Additionally, not all customers would remember to use the program, and therefore preventing all sales occurring at the margin, and giving JCPenney the opportunities to still sell some items for a larger profit margin than at rock bottom. Best Buy, Target, and Toys R Us have had much success with this, and in fact, this is something that JCPenney subsequently ended up doing. Remember the story of JCPenney when deciding to change your pricing strategy. Using tools such as pilot programs and demand curve elasticity can help you properly forecast future revenue and develop a winning price strategy. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you thought this video could help someone you know make the right pricing decision, share it. And don't forget to subscribe at the link here so you can be notified when we post new content. And if you have a story on a price-changing strategy and how it impacted sales, feel free to share it with us and be featured on Launch. And that's a wrap.